Silicon Valley, technology, art, green, and sustainability.
Welcome to another episode of Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability, SVTAGS.org. I'm here with Randi Knight from Savers. I'm so excited that you're here today. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Heather. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys do such a great thing. But before we talk about Savers, tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, if this is what you've done, your entire life. You want to tell us a little history on yourself, let us know.
Sure, absolutely. So this is actually the first time I've worked for a retail company. I was raised in New Jersey, and
there's no accent. I can't tell.
You'll hear it. It'll pop out here and there. But I have a degree in psychology and art therapy, and my first part of my career was with nonprofits. And then I decided to move into technology, and I did sales and marketing in technology companies. And then I moved back into working for nonprofits when I came to Silicon Valley, and I worked for 2 nonprofits here. And then Savers kind of found me and said, your background would be perfect for this position and for the organization, so I joined Savers.
And wasn't it an art therapy nonprofit that you started or you worked for?
I did in Austin, Texas. Before I moved to Silicon Valley, I started up a nonprofit in Austin, Texas, and it was an art gallery and art studio serving people with developmental disabilities.
Is that still going?
It is still going.
That's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
We may have to go to Austin.
It was a really great
I've
program.
never been to Austin, so that may be the next on location.
Very cool town.
Very cool. And so Savers, you were working for somebody else when you moved here, and then you got hired at Savers. Tell us about Savers. I know what Savers is for people that don't know.
Yeah,
I can hold the logo up here too. This is Savers. Yay.
Yeah, Savers is an international thrift store repurpose. Our mission is to better lives through the power of reuse. And we are an independently family-owned company. And we are 61 years old, 62 years old this year.
That's pretty amazing that it's independent and it's international. Yep. And it was started in the Bay Area?
It was started in the Bay Area in San Francisco on Mission Street.
Wow. And is there still a San Francisco store?
There is not still a San Francisco store.
Okay.
So in the Bay Area, we have one in Redwood City. We have 2 in San Jose, one on Almaden and one on Parkmore. And then we have one in Milpitas and Dublin.
So Redwood City is the closest to the San Francisco original
yes,
store.
Exactly. And that store is 61 years old, so it's been there a very long time.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
So it was started there. Mr. Ellis started the organization, started the company, started a small thrift store in San Francisco. He used to work for a competitor of ours as an executive, and then decided to start his own business.
And you said 61 years ago.
Yeah, 62, yeah. 62
and
years
Australia?
Ago. Yeah, so now we are in the United States. We have 335 stores, many in United States, Canada, and Australia. Yeah.
Canadian,
yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Pacific Northwest, where our last guests were from, Seattle, Portland, those areas too?
There's a ton of stores there. There's actually at least something like, I think, 20 or 30 stores in the Puget Sound area, and then there's a lot in Washington and Oregon. There's a ton there.
So Puget Sound's kind of like Seattle, right? Kirkland, Seattle.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. For people that don't know, I have
and
a cousin up there.
Value Village.
Okay, Value Village.
Yes, they're Value Village stores there.
So are they not Savers then internationally?
It's considered Savers - Value Village, and it's either one or the other.
Oh, so Value Village. Yep. So internationally, are they Savers or Value Village?
I think they're Value Village.
We can look online after.
I don't know.
So let's pull up the first slide right now, which is a really cool picture of, this is your Milpitas store.
Yep.
And let's pull that down, and then we'll pull up really quickly the next one as well, which is, I can't remember if the next slide where this is, but I took this from a PDF that we're going to look at in a minute, a flyer, and I just was stunned that 28 million coats, 329 million tops, 14 million pairs of pants, 59 million pairs of shoes were diverted from landfill. And this is just one of your stores right now. We could pull that down, and I'm going to hold this up so that you can tell us about this document and how you guys are really green, and they're gonna do a close-up of this.
Savers is absolutely an incredible organization. So in addition to selling the stuff that the product that we get into the store, we're also one of the largest recyclers of used clothing in the world. And we divert more than 650 million pounds of quality goods from landfills each year, which is the equivalent of 1,400 statues of liberty.
Wait, re-say that again. 1,400 statues of liberty.
That's what we divert
yearly,
from the landfill.
Not
yearly.
in the 60-something years, but
Correct.
yearly.
Yearly.
That's just, I can't even wrap my mind around that. That's just so crazy.
I mean, it really is amazing. And the EPA estimates that the average person throws away 70 pounds of clothing per year.
Wow.
And they throw it away. They don't give it away. They throw it away. And that to me is just absolutely ludicrous.
Which is really, really hard to recycle clothing, isn't it? In a landfill, it takes a really long time for it to
it does.
Decompose.
To decompose. In addition to that, it also takes something like 400 gallons of water to make one t-shirt.
Wow.
And so it's just such a waste for us to be purchasing new clothing. It's just such a waste for us to be filling the landfills with this stuff that we could be repurposing. And so Savers is just doing such an incredible service to the environment, to communities by supporting nonprofits, and then just keeping all of these things out of the landfill.
Let's pull up the next slide. We already talked about you're in California, and we're going to bring up the next slide, that you're in California and then Canada and Australia, which another reason to go to Australia. Go look at the Savers there. I think, is this one of the Chicago? What's the slide we're looking at right here?
So this slide is a group in Chicago that did a clothing drive. And we have a very special program. So all along, Savers has been doing Savers gets their product through nonprofits. So they support nonprofits all across the country, all across the world, by paying nonprofits for clothing that they bring to the store. Now, in the beginning, we worked what we call with legacy nonprofit partners, and each store has a legacy nonprofit partner. But we decided
and that's
to
how
open
they've
this
always
up.
gotten their clothes,
always
through nonprofits.
62 years ago through nonprofits, which
So-
I think is incredible also. And these are very local, small nonprofits. Some of them can be larger, but most of the nonprofits are small nonprofits. And we have a whole list on our website that you can find the nonprofits that we work with.
So we were actually at the senior roundtable, and you made that announcement. And I was like, what? That's so awesome.
I know.
Let's pull up the next slide. The next three slides we're going to pull up really quickly. So this is one of the nonprofits.
Yeah, Anderson Animal Shelter did a clothing drive. And so we decided to open up the program to other nonprofits, not just the legacy nonprofit partners, so that they could also raise money for their little nonprofits. So they'll do a drive at their own location, and that drive might consist of...
Is Anderson in the Bay Area, or is that somewhere?
Anderson Animal Shelter is in Chicago, but we work with animal shelters all over. We worked with the Dublin Animal Shelter. We work with Milpitas Animal Shelter. We work with all
Humane
kinds
Society,
of Humane
San
Society,
Jose Animal Shelter.
Absolutely. That's just just a few of the groups that we work with. So this program is great for any nonprofit, but it can be schools, sports teams, churches, synagogues, mosques, any kind of nonprofit that wants to do a fundraiser can do this.
Let's pull up another slide. The next two are also nonprofits that you work with. Epilepsy Foundation?
So Epilepsy Foundation is actually a legacy nonprofit partner, and every donation that comes into the store, we pay Epilepsy Foundation. But this donation fund drive program is for other nonprofits to take advantage of the program and to raise money for their organization.
So the legacy ones are the ones that you've been working with for a very long time. How many legacy ones do you have?
Across the United States, I want to say we probably have at least 250.
So is like the American Heart Association maybe one of them?
Maybe the ARC of Kansas is one of them. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Reno is one.
The ARC of Kansas. I think I've seen pictures of it.
Yep.
But yeah.
And then in the Bay Area, we have Hope Services, we have PARCA, and we have Epilepsy Foundation, are the legacy nonprofit partners.
Here in the Bay Area.
In the Bay Area,
and let's pull up the next slide. But this program you have right now, you're opening up to local nonprofits.
Local nonprofits.
These girls are so cute. So these are cheerleaders. So are they a nonprofit then?
They are actually.
So it's a school.
Yep,
and they've got a cheerleader fund, nonprofit. That is so adorable. We can pull that down.
And this was such a great story. These girls had never done one before, and I think there was somebody was shopping in the store and they saw a flyer and they decided to try it, and they did the the best out of the entire Bay Area.
Wow.
They raised over $1,000 for their group, and they do a lot of traveling. So they go to, I think it was Reno or Las Vegas, and they can't afford to necessarily pay for the the travel expenses. So this paid for their travel expenses. It kept the girls very active, and every girl participated, and they did such an incredible job. They
So
really
now
did
people
good.
bring the clothing in and you pay by pound?
Yep,
Or how
we
does,
weigh it. Yep, we weigh by pound, and then we pay them by the pound.
And then what do you pay them by the pound? We can talk about that
Oh, okay.
they're not buying from you, you're paying. So what is it that you pay them?
Okay, so